Hello and welcome to this week's Cari Connects. I am Psychic Medium Cari Muggs, and each week I pull a card from a deck to let you know what's coming up for the week and the signs and symbols to watch for. So, my lip is super swollen on this side. It'd be really cool if this side looked the same, then it would be super sexy, but it's not. So, please forgive me if it's just weird and it feels really weird, but oh well. So, this week we are using the deck Beyond Lemuria. I was looking for my Yuletide deck because I was going to use it some of this month, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was led to this deck. So Beyond Lemuria. It is by Izzy Ivy, and it is a beautiful deck. I love the decorations of each card in the front, and then each picture, it's a naked picture, so I'm not going to show that one, has a different... It's such a pretty deck. Like, there's just the artwork on this. I love decks. I collect them. So, also I'm getting some new decks for this month because Hay House had their sale for half off during this last week. So I'll be getting some new decks for the next couple weeks. So, okay, so we're gonna pull one. I'm not gonna spread it out, and I'm just gonna pull it out of here. Oh, vulnerability. So this week, you're going to have to be vulnerable. You're going to have to open yourself up to things. You're going to have to share some feelings that maybe you don't want to. You're going to have something come up that you're going to have to be really vulnerable. This could be with somebody else, or this could just be with you, or this could be with spirit, or this could just be something within you that you have to just look at and say and be truthful with yourself. A lot of people don't like vulnerability because it hurts or it's scary. But honestly, when you're vulnerable is when it's crazy, but that's when you attract. That's when you attract what you want, or that's when you attract other people who understand you. And so being vulnerable makes everybody feel connected because we all go through things, and it's sometimes this is a really good card for me because I hate being vulnerable, but sometimes it's good for us to open those wounds or open up to other people and let them know that we're like them, or we connect to them, or yeah. So this week you're going to have to be vulnerable. And whether that's being vulnerable with your boss, because I always say this, it could be a lot of different things, a number of different things. It could be being vulnerable with your workplace or your boss. It could be vulnerable with one of your children. It could be vulnerable with one of your parents or family members. It could be vulnerable in a relationship. It could be vulnerable in a friendship. You might have to open up and just embrace the vulnerability, right? Just be you and be truthful. That's all vulnerability is just being you authentically and being truthful with whatever it is that you can't be, or maybe you've been really struggling recently and you've been hiding it, and people are concerned. I don't care if they're watching, because who cares, right? You be yourself. But there are people in your life that maybe are concerned, and maybe you need to open up and be honest with them. So this is going to be a good week to be vulnerable. And there's lots and signs and symbols on this card, okay? So for those of you that are listening, I'm going to try and explain what the card looks like so you can watch the signs and symbols. But if you need to know what the card looks like, you can go to my Instagram at about 5:55 every night and look at the card. So there is a dragon for sure for vulnerability, which is awesome because dragons protect us, keep us safe. And so that's what we do when we're vulnerable. We guard, we protect. So this dragon is a symbolic thing of opening up and letting people in. And there's also shards of glass. See those triangles of shards of glass, which is also awesomely symbolic because sometimes vulnerability hurts, right? But sometimes it just feels like it cuts deep. So there's shards of glass, a dragon. There's also flowers, and they kind of look like lotus flowers, which is awesome too, symbolically, because lotus flowers have to grow through the mud, and they have to grow through the dirt to be beautiful in the end. So that's also vulnerability, to open up at the end and let people in and let people know what you're going through. And then the last but not least is a dragonfly, which is symbolic with the dragon, right? And the dragonfly is awesome because I love this because there's only one of them on, it's not a whole bunch of dragonflies on the card. There's only one, which means that they're majestic. You are the magic. You can do this. This is a transformation. This is awesome. This is going to help you in the end. It might feel like lots of glass hurting you and cutting you, and it might feel scary, but you've got this, and it's going to cause an amazing transformation this week within yourself, with the way you look at things or the way you see things, but it's going to be an amazing transformation. Now, the numbers for this are 5 and 6. So 555 means there's changes coming. So if you see lots of fives, that means that this vulnerability is going to bring on changes in yourself or people around you, and that's okay. Change is not a bad thing. Change is always good because change helps you grow. The one thing that doesn't change is change. You're always changing. And 666. If you see 666, it is not an evil number. It just means you're too much in your head. You're thinking too much about this. You're overplaying it and rewinding it so much. Just let it go and let it happen. So let's say that you, for instance, have a vulnerability moment and you're pretty vulnerable. And then that night you share something that was maybe you're opening up and sharing part of yourself. And then that night while you're laying in bed, you're replaying that conversation over and over and over in your head. Let that go. That's what 666 means. Let it go. Whatever was happening is happening. I remember when I used to give talks or presentations, and I would share intimate things sometimes with the group, and then I would think about, oh, how did that come across? How did that? It doesn't matter. It was brought up for a reason. So just let it go. So don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze it. Just let it go. So there you go. That's also too. There is a little bit of rain on the card. I don't know if that's the shards of glass or if it's the rain, but that's also very symbolic of how being vulnerable can feel. All of this is saying how being vulnerable can feel, but in the end, you're going to be protected and you're going to be watched over, and it's going to cause amazing changes in you. So, then there's these crystals. I didn't even see these crystals. See these like Lemurian crystals? These are the Lemurian crystals. So any kind of clear crystal, or any kind of, if you have a clear crystal or you have a clear quartz or you have a Lemurian stone, maybe carry that around with you. What else is a clear crystal? Selenite. Maybe carry that around with you this week, because that kind of dispels negative emotions or negative feelings. So that would be a good idea too, to carry one of those crystals with you. So there you go. I love you guys. I really do. I know I always say that, but I really mean it. I really do. I know I couldn't be here without you. And I love that you guys are always coming in saying, I listen to your podcast. I watch Cari Connects. It makes me a little nervous because that's what being vulnerable is, right? Putting yourself out there. And so if you guys knew how much it took for me to get on these, not anymore, but in the past, I would be so scared and I would rewind and I would edit. And now I just don't care. You guys know who I am. You know how I am. You know I have some ADHD stuff. You know that I talk a lot. I talk fast, and you just know that this is me. And I am so grateful that you guys accept that. And I love you, and I will see you guys next week.